Good evening, everybody. This is Marco Filighera. I am with logicalsignals.com and tradershelpingtraders.com. And this is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Monday, August 16th, 2021. Well, the NASDAQ continues to throw me curveballs lately. And what I mean by that is that I had counted this as the first wave up in a subminute wave 3 rally and looking for a wave 2 correction. And I even said that it could come all the way down and equal 14,941.25. It just can't exceed it. Well, it did decide to come back down, but it exceeded it. Not by a whole lot in the larger scheme of things, but enough where it violated the rule. And I had to take a step back to determine, okay, what's going on? So what it does end up on how I'm now going to count it is that we still have that X wave, but then a B, and a C for the second ABC structure. And now the wave 2 is down here. And hopefully this particular wave is the initial stage of the subminute wave 3. So we are still within a minute third. And so this thing has to really start to pick up the pace right now. Otherwise, I'm going to have to back this whole count out and refigure what all of this basically is telling us in terms of where we are in that larger picture. I continue to believe that we still are going to go up and exceed 15,172, get above 15,200, 15,300, and on up towards 15,400 before all is said and done. So the NASDAQ is having a little bit of trouble getting itself and keeping above 15,000. Basically, it's now gone down and broken below it several times during all of this last 2-3 weeks of trading that we've had. So, and it's been failing. Only just about a week ago, it did get itself up to a new high. So I'm looking for this now, again, to get itself up, make a new high, and then start to pull back in a typical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fashion. So indeed, if it is going to be a third wave, absolutely, it is likely going to extend. So we should be able to get up pretty high. In fact, I now can redraw this to better reflect what I'm looking for it to do. And it's going to look a little weird, but those two set fine. And now I just want to change the end date to 14,117.25. 14,901. 17.25. Let's see what that puts it perfectly. And so now with this, we could start to try to figure out where wave 3 can come in. Now, wave 3, when relating to wave 1, 100% is a minimum. I definitely would want wave 3 to be the longest and the strongest wave. So that would be the minimum, 152, 15,278. But more likely up here, so we're already getting ourselves just maybe in this third wave up here towards 15,460. Now, the other count, which still could be flipped and put into place, is if this ends up being wave 1 and it's a 3 waves, implying that there's now a diagonal triangle happening, but it has to begin to wedge and push higher, and then maybe only in 3 waves. So wave 3 would be 3 waves, and that would confirm the triangle. And then we have additional points and we have additional structure that should help us determine the ultimate tops here. So, but right now, 1.618 comes in here. 200% comes in here. And that would just be this third wave. So that's, I'm not looking for that high, but I definitely think that it could get up above 15,500, and that's where this would end. Right there at 15,500. But all these levels become good candidates for where a third wave could complete. Again, if it comes up in 5 and that's it, then I'm going to stick with this count that I have. That 1, 2, and this is 1, 2, and that's a 3. A sub-minute 3 of minute 3. And then we get the 4 and the 5. To finish it, finish the third, we still have a fourth and a fifth yet to come. So I think that this level, these levels up here, really do come into play. And whether the NASDAQ decides to play catch up here or not, yet to be seen. We know that it's possible. What needs to start to turn along with it is like Apple started to turn today. Apple closed at an all-time new high. Apple is now above, each time it ticks, it's a new high. So it's above 151 now, and above 150 was the new high. So it continues to push itself higher. If Amazon starts to push higher, then we have Google joining the party, Facebook joining the party, Microsoft joining the party, et cetera, et cetera. If the stocks that are on the cusp of all-time new highs join the party, then this is going to be an easy feat for the NASDAQ to get itself up to that upper level. So we have to have that participation. We started to see that at the end of the day today. And then that's what this produced. We got that strong rally right into the close. It may have felt like it was just like tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, like a clock pushing itself higher without really going at a great speed. But when you collectively looked at it, it was moving $10, $10, $10 until it got up at 15,134, which is where, actually 140, excuse me, which is where the market closed and then sold off a little bit in just after. So now that globex has just started, we can take a quick look and see that the NASDAQ is down about 7. No big deal. If this indeed is wave 1, we get a wave 2. And let me just bring this into the realm of reality in terms of our vision and take a peek. If we're looking for a wave 2, I am not trying to clutter the screen, but we're just going to put on some Fibonacci. I'm going to do those extensions. At least bring it down a little bit so that it's easier to see. I'm going to go there. Oops, maybe. Thank you. And up to that high. Put it right there. And so we'd be looking at the possibility of 15,055, 54. We have first support at 86, and that would be pretty thin. So I would be looking for that to come down at least to 86. So that's the 200. Then you have the 100 and the 50 kind of crossing here. Excuse me, the 200 and the 50 crossing. That's on a 15-minute chart. That is, in order for this rally really to continue, that has to occur and it has to remain in place. So that would benefit the NASDAQ continue to push higher. If it really swings down and goes low, like back to here, possibly even back to here, it's going to create more damage. It's going to produce more negativity because of its recent action. What it did today, it slid pretty quickly down there. It was not easy to trade. Don't get me wrong here. It was not easy to trade, even in the beginning, because there's certain criteria that each trader has set up for if a market's going to go, if a market's really going to slide, if a market's really going to rally. There are points, there are moving averages, points of control, value area high, value area low, past day points of control that or value area high and value area low that were never really dealt with. Particularly like, you know, you could have it out there and it was there. If it goes down and gets met, then it's completed and whatever the market's doing will usually continue. And so at least you know that that level's been reached, dealt with, and now we move on. But those all exist during the day. And that didn't make entering these trades, because actually, to be quite frank with you, they were very inside this 15-minute bar. It was like up and down and all around very, very quickly. And so you could be entering a trade and it would turn around and flip, and the trade suddenly $300 or $400 or $500 against you. And unless you have a much larger account, it can become more difficult to trade, particularly when you're trying to build a smaller account. And that's really what took place. But when the market did finally kick in, and gave a decent signal, it was easy enough to make. And that was at the very last one, to be honest with you. It gave a clean cut signal, and you could ride it all the way down at least to support at 941. And then the rally off of that gave some much clearer signs if you were looking out at the 1, the 2, and the 5-minute chart. The 5-minute chart gave you the clues first, that it was putting in a bullish engulfing bar, and then the 1 and the 2-minute began to put in bullish engulfing bars, and then they just all ganged up, and then it was off to the races, and it just basically rallied. Sitting through these declines with a long position was not as easy as you'd think, because this particular one, just after 12 noon, was over 25 points. It dropped down to the low. So you don't want to hold on to that, but they were tradable. Let me just say that they were more tradable and cleaner than the initial start for the day. Okay, for tomorrow, if indeed this is just going to be wave 1, we're looking for a wave 2. Wave 2 can come in very thin in terms of not really creating much price damage. First, we'd be looking for it to break the 8, then I'm looking for it to break the 20 and possibly come to rest down in this area and then rally again, pick up the rally. Now, if this is wave 1 of 3, then 3 of 3 is should take us up through these levels that have been in existence now for quite a while, but push up through them cleanly. Push up through here cleanly, because again, this is a measurement for upside for the 3rd wave. And so we'll be looking at these all be filled before this is over. And I'm going to go back up to that hourly. And so that what we're looking at is if we have wave 3 and where that could go. And we need to extend that one out too. Put it over. But I did that. Let's see. This was 17. 1.4125. No, I think that needs to go 17. Let's see if what that does. Changes our upside levels. Now it puts where today ended as being 618. So this wave 1 really did pretty well. But if it's a wave 3, we're looking for much higher levels. I'm looking for here, as I said before. I'm looking for it to get above 15,400. That would be the 3rd wave. Then we need broader participation. And then, but they're going to pull back, so it's going to stair step its way up. But this is only 3, and then we get a 4, and then we get a 5, and then 5 again. These are the zones that you begin to put together. And then we always thought, could we ever get up here? Well, if they really wanted to push, yes. If everyone is now in the belief that they're coming back in, the buyers are coming back and they're coming for tech, they're coming for Apple, they're coming for Amazon, they're coming for PayPal, Facebook, Google, Intel, Microsoft, et cetera, et cetera. We're off to the races, but it has to be more broad-based at this level. And it may happen because now the S&P has broken to new highs, and I mean very cleanly broke to new highs, and looks like it's in the straight beeline up to 4,500. That cannot go by itself because of the weighting that Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla have, Microsoft have in the S&P. So it's a joint effort, and I think that I believe it's going to happen. So I'm still going to look for upside and just play the correction. So for tomorrow, we're going to look for a little bit of correction, then I'm going to look for continued to the upside. A continued breakdown, trade it. I'll figure it out, but it gets it a little bit confusing, as I said. And then we got to start taking a look at all of this mess right in here as to what is the market really be telling us. But right now, I'm going to leave it there. I'm looking for a little bit of correction, continued upside. The next update will be Tuesday, August the 17th.